This is Starlight.
Starlight FM, first episode. That's actually really crazy. I'm here with the one, the only, my fucking dog, honestly, like one of my favorite artists. Proud to know you on the personal level. Will Cherry. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Yo, what's up? This is Will Cherry, artist, producer, director, um, aspiring film director, screenwriter, engineer, everything.
Yeah, bro. So I just want to start off by asking, just for context, for people that don't know, we haven't like talked face to face in about 3 years. The last time we talked was 2017 on my old podcast, This for Everyone. So people want to know like what's new? How have you changed as a person like the last 3 years? What's been going through your head? How have you like developed as an artist, a human being?
I I remember I watched an interview that Tyler did before around the Flower Boy era, and he talked about how basically he had done this thing where he would start completely relearning how to write songs, and I sort of felt like after the Outlier EP that I put out in 2017, and I when I made that EP, I was in the process of making Burgundy back then, and it was a totally different album. And I felt like I just completely relearned how to write songs. I relearned, everything I thought I knew about mixing, about rapping, about my cadence on the microphone, about my content, what I wanted to talk about, which I feel like I had some content before, but I just figured out the way to just really get to it in a way better way. So I just like developed as an artist, like we're supposed to do, you know. Ever since then, I developed as a person too. Went through a relationship that I was not in. Like when we did the last interview, like a whole long 2.5 years. Um, like went through jobs, life experiences, losing people, which definitely inspired the album. Just life experiences, school, all types of stuff, bro. Like just growing and learning, and the whole time the one thing I always had to come back to was this album. I was always coming back, changing songs. Like, you know what? I'm gonna take this song off. I'm gonna redo this. I'm gonna fix this. Like, this was the most consistent thing in my life for the last 3-4 years, for sure.
That's crazy. That's honestly crazy how like this is as someone that's been here and watched you go through this, it's really crazy how consistent you've been with this project. Like the name hasn't changed. I know so many artists where they start something and they just throw it away, they reformat it, rebrand it, whatever, but you have been really consistent with Burgundy and what it is as like I don't even want to call it an album anymore. Like it's this whole entity. Uh and touching on the school thing, like I kind of asked, did you go back to school? Because the last time I talked to you, you had you had recently dropped out from like journalism, right?
Yeah, I ended up. I went back and I finished and got my associate's degree. Yeah.
Damn, that's actually crazy because I remember you did not want to do that shit.
Yeah, I did. I felt like it was, I was kind of close, so I was just like, you know what, I probably could use this at some point. It's good to have it, so I just went and got it. Yeah.
That's crazy. Uh, and that relationship that you're in, how much do you feel like that derailed you, or did you feel like it was actually like a motivating force for like this project?
I don't know if it was a motivating force for this project, but it was absolutely a motivating force for Starlight.
Okay.
Because when I wish I could just list off the songs. When I got into the relationship, it was like September, October 2017. And by then, the album's gonna be out when we talk about this. So I can say like Perfect was done. Not done, but it was like it was a song already. Flip was already a song. Death Proof was already a song. I don't know if Wine was a song. I don't think that was a song. Froze was like a song I made like right when we first started dating. So it was like I was sort of in the mode of making the album. Like I wrote like the breakup song Froze when we first got together. So that wasn't really inspired by like the actual situation. That was just like just being creative, coming up with a song. But the Starlight stuff, we created Starlight like in April. Yeah, I think probably like April. We came up with the idea to like dissolve Double Print as a record label group thing, and then create So Be It as a new label, Double Print Media as like the big media company that everything's going to be under, and then Starlight as the band. So when we came up with that idea, I had just broken up in like March, April, and I just got this inspiration, like, man, I want to go hard, like, and I already had my second album done. My second solo album is already basically done.
Yeah, it is.
So I was like, you know what? Let's work on this group stuff. We had already started a Double Print album in 2017 called Pressure, and I was like, man, some of these songs are okay, some of these songs are not. The Freshies, like little part of a Freshie song that's in Flip towards the end, is actually that was originally on the Death Proof or the Double Print album in 2017. So that's how long we've been working on it. So we were just like, you know what, maybe we can keep a couple of these songs, but most of the stuff we're gonna make new. I just had this inspiration. I didn't have any. I had less stress because I wasn't in a relationship anymore. I had less stuff to worry about. I could think about myself and my own art more, which was not a thing I was able to do. And we just went in, bro. We just went in, made a ton of music. And we made our first project, Superstar, in like a week or two in April.
Damn, like a whole project in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. We
Can you take?
we did it twice. We made another project this week. In 4 days, we just made our best one. But it's gonna come. I don't know. It's gonna come out some point in 2021. But it's not gonna be like Burgundy, where it's gonna be like delayed and delayed. Like I've actually developed as an artist to the point where the changes that I would make 4 months from now, I made it this week. I made it in the moment. So it's gonna come out for sure. Like we got a lot of stuff coming next year.
Damn, that's crazy. That's really good to hear. Can you take us through like the Starlight roster? Like who's in the band?
Starlight Roster. We got like 3 main members really. It's me, Z Wells, Xavier Clark, and then we got like the So Be It extended family that you hear them pop up on songs, but they're not on every song. And that's Save, Mandel Harrison, and Rico Blue.
Okay, so you're keeping it pretty like close circle, tight knit, like the day one homies.
Yeah, and we got the motherboard management and marketing. That's shout out to Yashira, Ben, Andrea, and Rico's on that too.
Okay, I like how you always keep shit like people you actually know.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody is from like my hometown. Like we know each other. Like, yeah.
I really appreciate like that grassroots, like straight out the mud mentality, like in the basement. So let's talk about Burgundy. Like, what's up with the album name? Like, can you explain the significance of the color?
Yeah. The original, when I first made Burgundy, I kind of was unsure of exact. Burgundy's, first of all, it's my favorite color. It's been my favorite color since I was like 5, 6, 7 years old. When people said it was gay to like burgundy as a color. That's how long it's been my favorite color. It's just a great color. I think it looks good on Black people's skin. I think it just has like a warmth to it. Yes, I don't know. It's just a great color. So I think it was always meant for my first album to be called my favorite color. And originally, like the first idea for why it would be called Burgundy was this girl I had a crush on. Her car was burgundy. I just thought that I took that as a sign. That was like 5 years ago. And when I was a kid, like the first car I remember was my mom's burgundy. It was a Plymouth something. It was like a sedan. So yeah, it's always been my favorite color, and I just remembered burgundy cars. It always stuck out to me. But then over time, like my family, I kind of have a family that like having funerals is an often thing. Like growing up, every other Saturday we went to a funeral in Cleveland. But I started to realize I lost like my mentor who sort of helped raise me. And then one of my childhood friends who was actually like a cousin through marriage around like 2017 as well. And that just made me think about, I was just trying to figure out how to cope with it. I was trying to figure out how to grieve. I realized I never really grieved over my father's passing when I was like 11 years old. So I was just trying to, Like in the song that we did for the second Starlight EP, I said watching movies because it's all I ever did with my dad. Like, and I didn't realize it, but I was going to the movies like 3 times a week, just trying to escape into a film, because that was what I would do with my dad all the time when he was alive. And I realized I was trying to use that to, cope with my childhood friends passing. And it's just like, we try to figure out ways to deal with stuff. And it had been after a while. It had been like 9 years, not 9 years, but like a lot of years after he passed that I realized I hadn't dealt with it. So I was just like, the blood is red, but when the blood dries, it's burgundy. And in hip hop music, there's so many amazing songs about losing somebody and the instant feeling you have, the feeling that you have right in that moment, and the feeling not that long after. But I thought, what if I made an album about a couple years after you lost somebody and you're not over it, like you're expected to be? So it's burgundy, the color is dried, the dry blood burgundy. And that's really the main meaning. And it also means just like the inspiration. Like burgundy is just a source of inspiration for me. And I have this thing I'm going to do called My Burgundy, where there's different people talking about what their version of burgundy is, like what's their inspiration, what drives them, what makes them want to be great and stuff like that. So it has a lot of different meanings, but the main meaning within the context of the album is loss and grief.
That's powerful. Like, that kind of leads me to like my next question. Like, how's being a Black man in America? Because I feel like just being in that situation, you're constantly surrounded by death. Like, there's so much trauma porn on the internet. You are constantly seeing other Black people getting murdered on the internet. Like, death surrounds us as like this community and as a race, like at a ridiculous amount. Even if it's not someone like personally attached to you, you're constantly seeing someone who looks just like you dying.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. I think when you wrote or when you recorded your parts for the album and you talked about, I'm a Black man in North America and I'm still alive. I don't know if you remembered, but in the first version of Burgundy, there was a song called Still Alive.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So I was sort of like rapping about it back then. It's always been in my mind, even though I hadn't made it like a main focal point of the album, that being Black, you do inherently have to deal with grief a lot. That's why I feel like with Black heroes, when Black heroes die, it hits a little bit different than any other hero. Like like literally superhero with like Chadwick Boseman, but even like with Bernie Mac, when Bernie Mac dies, it's like
Touch me.
It's a blow to the community, because it's just like we see these certain people and they mean something to us and they stand for something in a place where not a lot of people can and not a lot of people have. So it happens with the people that we look up to. It happens with the people that we've never heard of before, that are just a regular guy, but he just gets done so bad by the police or by, some white dude that is trying to, I don't know, live out his fantasy to kill a Black person. We see that every time. And then just the stuff we deal with in our communities locally, in our family, like we suffer. And that's why I've taken a stand against watching slave movies and certain stuff like that. Like, because I just feel like we've suffered enough. So I just feel like now that we've suffered and we have to continue to suffer sometimes, we got to process it. So that's what I want to do with the album. Because I do feel like, yeah, it's an album for everybody, but it also is an album that is going to be certain things that I feel like will connect to Black people specifically, certain things I might mention, definitely certain samples. Like, it's going to be certain things that it's just like, this is for us at the same time, and this is something for you to think about, for sure.
Yeah, that's really powerful. Like, you taking a stand. This is just what stood out to me. Like, you taking a stand against like watching slave movies. It's something I've thought about before, but it's almost like going back to the whole idea of like burgundy is the dried blood, and you're taking this time like after the death to really go sit down and mourn things.
Yeah.
I feel like I know people are gonna like take this way out of proportion, but I feel like as a community, we aren't taking the time to actually like properly mourn and grieve over the things that have happened to us, just so we can like tackle them in a better way.
Facts.
It's almost like as a collective, we are dealing with like this post-traumatic stress that's getting passed down generation to generation, and inspires like great art. Inspired like all great art comes from pain in my mind. Like you made Burgundy from like obviously like very impactful emotions and things that you've been through, but I think that a lot of it is like we have to grieve.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. Yeah.
How's your mental health in all of this? Like you had to like dig pretty deep to make this. How did it feel to like have to touch on all of those emotions and really bring them to light in like a sonic form?
It definitely helped me. I think it helped me just to talk about certain things on a record that I never talked about. Also, it helped me just to create something in general. Just made me feel better. And there was something that I wrote in the screenplay for a short film I want to do for the album, where I said something like, one of the characters says, another character had been dead for a year, and the character says, I knew he was gone, but I didn't talk about it because if I talked about it, it would be final. And I feel like talking about things made it final, and once something is final, you have to turn to the next page. So that absolutely helped me a lot, for sure, bro. Yeah.
Oh man, that spoke to me heavy. Like you know this, but like a lot of people don't know this. My dad was murdered in 2018 when I sent you those recordings for like the interludes on Burgundy. And I don't really talk about it like in like a super public forum because that means like, oh yeah, he's actually dead. Like I wasn't talking to him for like 3-4 years. So if I come out and I say, yeah, my dad got shot in his side and like I didn't go to the funeral, like I haven't seen the dead body. As far as I know, this guy's still kicking.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of like out. But that's like another thing that I feel like is apparent in the Black community. Like that whole thing of like, oh, speak no evil. I don't know if you've ever like heard that saying before.
Yeah. What do you
Like,
mean? Keep going. Yeah.
Like you aren't supposed to like speak certain things into existence because, oh yeah, that makes it real. Like my mom's super big on, especially because like she's Christian, like you aren't supposed to say certain things like sickness isn't final. Like you're constantly just supposed to be in a position where like, oh yeah, you pray, you say like the right things. But then like again, back to that whole we don't grieve thing. For me to come out and be like, yeah, my dad died, I wasn't talking to him, like that's like this taboo thing in like my family. Like even bring up like, oh yeah, there was a negative relationship, he's dead now, I never got to make peace with him. And not talking about it, like definitely like I relate to that main character in the short film, because it's like you don't want, like he's dead but he's not gone to me. Like I wake up every day and I think, oh, maybe I'll call this nigga and see what he's on, like maybe I'll go call this guy and get some closure, but nah, that's not gonna happen. Like I have to go live with that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. And what you said about like the thought of manifestation and you don't want to say certain things, I did change a line on the album because I felt like I just didn't want to speak into existence. I didn't like how I worded it. And it was a line on High Speed where I said, might crash. Before I said, might crash if I survive, I'm going to have a good laugh. And I changed it to might crash when I survive, I'm going to have a good laugh. And I changed that because I just didn't like putting uncertainty on my fate. And after the album, after the first single, Death Proof, came out, and I had said in the verse, my whole city said I'm a 5, my whole city said I'm the truth. The lyrics came to life, which I took as confirmation. Yeah, you should make sure that you should make sure that what you say is what you want it to be. Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm just taking that in. You like, bro, I heard this in 2018 and I was just like, you were definitely buzzing back then, but you didn't have the buzz you have right now. Like you did so much shit that you were literally talking to me about in like 2017, 2018, and you accomplished it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like I'm taking
about that. Yeah.
Bro, I remember 2017 you were talking about, oh yeah, I want to be on like Cleveland media, I want to be on the radio in my city, and now here you are.
Wow.
Like I'm just clicking that together. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy, bro. And that was a blessing. Like I wanted it to happen. I didn't know when it would happen. I didn't know it would happen with the very first song I put out. Never would have thought.
Oh, now I gotta ask this next question. Like, why Death Proof as the lead single?
Yeah, I don't think Death Proof is the best song on the album. I don't know if it's the catchiest song on the album. I don't know. That might be debatable to people that listen to it. But Death Proof it just always felt like the song that made the most sense. And I didn't realize until this year that Death Proof actually ties into the concept. Like I never thought about riding in my seat like I'm death proof. I never thought about, oh, the album is about death. I never thought about that. I just like the song. I love the movie. And when I made the song in 2017, I had worked with Matthias on another song before on a song called Change. That was on the original version of Burgundy. And I ended up scrapping that song. I was like, man, let's go for something else. And I made this song and I sent it to him and he was liking it and he put a verse on it. And then he sent it to this dude at the time who was going by the name Marvel Alexander, who's a rapper and producer from New Jersey who was living in LA. And a couple of days later on my birthday, that guy called me and said, what did he say? He said, bro, that was the only song you heard by me. And he said, bro, when I listen to the song, it feels like Frank Ocean over Pierre production. And he said, let me manage you and let me develop you. So on my birthday in 2017, he started managing me. And the feeling was just always like, this should be the single. And then Tay put a verse on it like last year. Like, and he had been sitting with the album for like 2 years too. And one day he was just like, man, send me this beat. And he just put this crazy verse on it. And it was just like, yeah, this feels right. And Matthias, he's from Cleveland Heights too, which is where Tay is from. I'm from Elyria, which is 30 minutes like away from them, where they're from. And Matthias had been living in Indianapolis for years. Like he really like made his fan base in Indianapolis, a lot of his best friends in Indianapolis. And he was about to move to LA. And there was this moment where he came back to spend some time in Cleveland. And it was just like, man, let's try to do this video. Originally, I was going to do the video with a version of the video where it was just me before Tay got on it. Then I was like, maybe I'll do a version of the video where it's just the edited version of me and Tay. And on Spotify, it's all three of us. But it was just like, man, this is a good moment. All three of us are in Ohio. Let's make it happen. And we made it happen. And it took some months to like get the edit right and everything for the video. But it just always felt like this was the right song. I don't know if the song feels like it sounds like Cleveland, but in the video, we used a lot of like noticeable landmarks in my area, specifically like even outside of Cleveland, more locally to my town. Like there's a moment where I'm standing in front of this big mural that says Elyria, which is my hometown. And then Tay is rapping in front of this thing that says Skate World, which is a place in this town called Lorraine. Toni Morrison is from that town, actually.
Oh, say a word. That's crazy.
That's our sister city. So it was just like, it just felt dope to pay homage and reference the place that I'm from specifically outside of Cleveland, as well as have these Cleveland artists on it. And it felt like a Cleveland moment. And then the song was doing all right. And then Tay posted it on his actual page because he's been like quiet musically for years. And this is like a comeback moment. And the people in the comments were just going crazy. It just felt like, yeah, this feels like a moment for the city. And then it got some play on the radio and it got, posted on some of the biggest websites in Cleveland. It just felt right. So it felt like it made sense. But I think if you want to hear it, because I know when I talk about the album, like somebody that might not have heard it is going to think, oh, this is going to be so depressing. It's going to be so dark. It's very much not dark.
Yeah.
So if you think like Death Proof is a catchy song, you think it's cool, listen to the whole album because it's much more catchy songs. Like, there's all types of emotions on there, for sure.
That was like a little bit of commentary I have to say. Sorry if I cut you off.
That was cool.
But Death Proof it's not my favorite song of the album, but like listening to it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a bop. Like the way you made it was like, oh yeah, this is supposed to be like the boppiest song on the project. My favorite song is the one where you're like, I'm on a high speed chase with my insecurities. That joint would touch me. I was like, oh yeah, that's fire.
Thank you.
But I also remember like the old versions, and even one I didn't know, Matthias was from Cleveland. I also like always just associate him with like Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But like seeing the fact you got him and Tay Mills linked up on a track, and Tay Mills verse is crazy. Like if you haven't heard that song, Tay Mills, like that verse is crazy. Like I had never heard of him before. I was like, whoa, like
Yeah.
where has this guy been this whole time?
He's been chilling. He's been I can't even say chilling. He's been sort of the same thing I did. He's been developing. Like he was already at a super high level artistically already, and he's like considered a legend in Cleveland, for sure. And the level of musicality he's at is nuts. But he just stopped and leveled up even more, and he had his child and stuff like that. So he's been having like real life mixed in with just always working on stuff creatively too. But yeah.
Yeah, because his flow, I was like, how's this guy an indie artist? Like I was like, this guy is crazy.
Yeah. No, he's amazing, bro. Yeah.
But yeah, like what you're saying with like the album, like the fact that death is such a big theme on it, it doesn't have like a sad vibe to it. Like you have to like listen closely to the content to like understand like, oh, like you're touching on like real shit like every single track.
Yeah.
But like sonically it's just fire. Like sonically you're just vibing to it like for what is it, like 14 tracks?
10 tracks, 34 minutes, 33 minutes and 59 seconds.
33 minutes, 59 seconds. That's how you know you've been working on this for the last like 3 years if you have it down to like the seconds.
Yeah, because it was 40 minutes and I purposely went through and shortened it. That's why a lot of the songs, you listen to a lot of songs, I don't think there might be only 2 songs that have some sort of 20-second intro. Most of the songs, at the beginning of the song, it might be a 4 count or it might go straight into the vocal. Like I just want to capture people's attention. I that's why one of the things I've been saying is like I don't want to waste anybody's time. Like when you listen to the album, I want to just captivate you and just take you on this ride immediately. Because I know this is my first thing. And I'm a small artist. I just want to catch people.
Definitely, that's really smart. But like back to Death Proof, we were talking about this like a little bit before, but like I feel like you wrote that song different than like every other song on the album. And maybe it's because like you have the features on it, but it's like in my opinion, it's your most radio friendly song. Like you have like this super boppy, like catchy hook on it. That's like, you're just riding through your city, like your Death Proof as if something you can blast in the whip.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like your verse just fits in perfectly with it. And then you have Tay Mills on it, and his verse is just like super crazy. You got Matthias on it, just adds like that little bit extra amount of star power to it. It's like crazy to think that you made something that's honestly like such a radio song. Like I don't want anyone to think that's a diss to you.
No,
like I think the capacity to make a radio song is like a superpower as an artist.
Yeah.
But like the fact that you did that as an indie artist is just like, oh, whoa, that's crazy. Like usually people, like the real barrier for people that I've noticed is they can't make like a really catchy radio hook, like something that has like that whip appeal to it.
Yeah, that was something I thought about over the last like 3 years or whatever. That was something I wanted to develop, was the ability to write like a very strong, catchy hook. Because since I was like probably like 16, I've been like a decent rapper who could do punchlines. And then over the last few years, I got good at flow and stuff like that. But something that I wanted to really learn how to do is make great hooks and be able to use auto-tune and get on the song and not sound like I'm drenched in auto-tune, but just to use it to be able to hit a melody and to create a melody that I feel like nobody's done before. Like the melody on the Death Proof hook, I feel like I haven't heard it in a song before, which is something that's intentional with basically every hook I write. So yeah, I definitely, I think that probably is why like my manager and certain people were drawn to it, was because they felt like a lot of artists that are in my position, like this small, but just want to be, as my manager called it, an artiste, and wants to be super creative, can also make a song that is very extremely accessible. Like I think that's a superpower too, for sure. I don't take it as a diss at all.
Yeah, because I don't know what it is, but even like listening to it in 2018 versus listening to it again in 2019 and then listening to it again now in 2020 when the album's like really about to become like this real thing or you put it out into the wild. The edits you made to it, like you were they're very slight, and I only really started to notice it like the more I got into music on like a technical aspect.
Yeah.
But your manager's like brilliant for guiding you like this, and you are brilliant for even being able to execute on this because I saw your Outlier EP, you were like an artiste. You're super creative, and you were like a craftsperson's artist.
Yeah.
Now it's like I can see you on BET.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. That's what I want. That's what bro. All my favorite artists, for the most part, have that ability to teeter on a line, and it's not an easy thing to do, to be able to be like Kendrick Lamar, where it's like you put out an album like Damn, and it's like I feel like Damn is a pop rap album, but then it has some of the heaviest, darkest, like just hard to chew on moments. So it's like, okay, he can go all the way over here, but he can go all the way over there. And that's what makes him so great to me. Like it's a lot of great artists and rappers who make those types of albums, like where it's just super lyrical, great concept, and they're some of the greats and people respect them. But it's also when you're able to combine that and to say, okay, on this song I'm going to sing, on this song I'm going to just talk about love, on this song it's just going to be a party song, and it fits in the album to where it's not corny, it doesn't feel like a sore thumb. Like that's super admirable. So yeah, I think that's the coolest thing in the world. I love great pop music.
Yeah, bro. Like I feel like there's this weird stigma. Like no one wants to be a pop artist, but it's like no, your favorite rapper is a pop artist. They just have bars. Like the two aren't mutually exclusive. Exclusive. I can't talk. I'm sorry.
That's a fact. Yeah, it's like your favorite rapper is a pop artist, but he's also a creative artist at the same time. It just doesn't. You can be a great pop artist and you can still be one of the greatest artists ever because it doesn't stop at the single. Like Frank Ocean said, the best song wasn't the single. Like, so if your single's amazing and the best song isn't the single, then you got to be pretty amazing. Like that's how I feel. I feel like Death Proof is not the best song on my album. So if that song is very good to people, then you should be excited about what I'm about to give you.
I hate to rag on the song, but I thought the same thing. I thought I listened to Death Proof. I watched the music video. I was like, yo, this is fire. But I was like, I've heard this whole thing. This guy has more bangers in the vault.
That's what I'm excited about. That's why. And by the way, we had a conversation too, because a lot of rappers in my position would not put out one song and then put out their album. Like that's a weird thing to do. By most people's estimations, that's a mistake. And I wasn't even going to put out PSA, but I had to make it and put it out because it was so important. Like it was so of the time. It was just how I was feeling. I felt like I didn't want to drop a fun single like Death Proof without saying something real first, especially in the time that we're in. So I was going to put out Edda because the video for Edda where I'm playing as an astronaut, and that starts up this whole like universe that we want to continue with the short film and a couple of the other videos. We shot High Speed already. We just shot Wine a couple weeks ago. So we could have had multiple videos. We could have just threw out a couple songs on Spotify too. But it was just like, let's just put out this single. And if you're going to be an album artist, then promote your album. So put out the album and then tell people about the other songs on the album. Like Matthias is not the biggest feature on the album. And Death Proof is not the best song on the album. And I want to do a video for every song. And I think by the time it's all said and done, Death Proof will not be the best video, even though I think it's a very good video. I just want to keep leveling up with everything. And I feel like that's going to be part of my thing with showing and proving is the fact that I try to start at a high level and I try to go at an even higher level afterwards. I feel like I don't even know what the best song on the album is. Like, I don't know what the best song is. My favorite might be Trust, but it's just because it's the last song I made. It's so recent. I don't know. But I just know Death Proof is not the best one. For sure.
I'm looking at this track list. I'm like, whoa. Oh wait, this is Ultraviolet. Oh, I shouldn't even talk about that. They don't even know. They don't even know you got a whole other album in the vault ready to go.
Yeah. On Twitter, I DM'd you the new link for Burgundy with the track list.
Oh, there's a new link.
Yeah, I had to reset it.
Let me go check that out. Hopefully this does not start playing. Please do not start playing. Okay. Yeah, like oh, another song I really liked off the album was Vancouver.
That's a favorite from what I'm
Like
hearing.
my first listen, that was my favorite song.
Wow. The beat is way better
Yeah,
now too.
my first listen.
The beat is much
Oh,
better than it was
really?
originally. Yeah, I ended up updating it because before it was like this pad and like these hard drums, and I just replaced it with like this jazz sample. You just let it ride in the first verse. So that's my artiste moment where I'm just rapping over some jazz, and then it's the switch up into the crazy drums part. Drums by Dom Sarfo, and yeah, I'm proud of that for sure.
You should be proud of this whole thing. Like Grapevine, High Speed, that was another one where I was like, oh, this is a banger. Uh, like from start to finish, you did something that was, in my opinion, really sonically sound, especially considering the fact that it's like, for people that don't know, you do it all. You're like a Pierre Bourne type of artist. Like you sit with Fruity, you can literally make a track from like start to finish there by yourself.
Yeah, that would be good to mention. I don't think I mentioned that enough. Yeah, I had like friends at work on different songs. That's like I just said, and I always credit them. Dom Sarfo did the drums on the second half of Vancouver. Dolphin Amir did the drums on Froze when the beat first comes in for the verse. Saman, he did it like a part, like the little synth solo instrumental part before the outro on Froze, and Dolphin did the outro on Death Proof. Then everything else I did. Everything else like it's just me doing the tracks and then like my friends adding little stuff because I love collaboration. Like it's the most important thing to me. And I got like the live instrumentation. My friend Z Wells, who's in Starlight, he A&R'd that for me and made that happen. But I definitely like I mixed the whole album. I produced the album. Like I did everything like really on FL Studio, making the beats, really like figuring out the song, redoing the song, like really. I don't mention that enough because I know it can be annoying, like it can be corny for the dude to keep saying, "Yeah, I made all the beats too." Like, but I should. Yeah, it's important to mention for sure.
The only people that really get call you corny for that are people that don't understand how hard production is.
Yeah,
Like if you never sat down in like FL or Logic, you try to make a beat, you're gonna be like, yo, beat makers or whatever, producers or whatever. It's all about like rapping. But like if you really sit down, you're like, oh, I'm gonna make a song like start to finish by myself, then you realize, oh, like make a beat's fucking hard.
yeah,
Like
it is. And that's why I low key felt honored too, because a lot of the people that are featured on the album make beats too. Like a lot of the artists, like Young Baby Tate makes all of her own beats. Tay makes his own beats. Matthias is like a well-known producer, maybe even more known as a producer than he is as a rapper because he's produced for some big artists. So like that felt like an honor too, by the way, that like I had great producers rapping on my album.
yeah, you got some names on there. Like, and do you credit that mostly to like your management, like the fact that you have Boss Man on your team now?
No, I got all these features myself. I got Young Baby Tate got
Oh
on the
damn.
album. She got on the album like 2017. Like a long time ago. I've been following her since like, and my manager does like know her, and he worked with her and was around her at the Dreamville sessions. But I have been following her since like 2015. Like me and my friend Zach, we've just been a fan of her music since she was like just a girl that was in Atlanta making really dope music, like performing, just doing her thing, and just always followed her. And that was a song that we worked on a while ago. I just kept refining it and I figured out the perfect way to bring her in. But the beat is low key the same thing from 2017 too. Like it's just that vibe that we had, and she murdered the verse. That I think that might be my favorite feature on the album. Like
Facts.
she killed that verse, and yeah, we did that a while ago. The Freshie feature, we did that like a couple months ago, and he's always been like just really cool. Like the original Starlight FM, back when it was called DPR Radio, he did an interview with that. I booked him for a show last year in like November, And he's just been always been like a super cool dude. And he just hit me and said, man, if you ever need anything, let me know. He's always been cool. And we did the show together. He did the feature. Feature was fire. Fit perfectly on the song, just like I imagined it would. And yeah.
That's crazy, bro. Like, how does this feel? Because I know this has been like your dream, and like you're really closing in on it. Like, how does it feel to like finally get the traction you've been working towards?
It feels good. Like, it's exciting. When we got played on the radio, like that was just a full body excitement moment for me and all my friends. Like, it was just like, whoa, especially because when we got played on the last station, 106.1, which is like a iHeart station, so it was on the app too. That was a station where I actually, the first station I wasn't able to, it wasn't like, I'm outside of Cleveland like 30 minutes, so I wasn't able to hear the station in my car. But this 106.1 station, it reached out to my town, so we were able to listen to it in the car and like look at the radios, like look at the little number on the dial and hear my voice and hear it get introed by DJ Envy and Charlemagne. It was just like, it was wild, bro. Like, that was definitely exciting. Like, it's been a lot of exciting moments for sure. I'm also been like super anxious too. I don't know why. I don't, because I try not to worry about numbers and like expectations and stuff like that. But it's just, I've been like super anxious lately, for sure.
Anxious? How so?
I don't know. It's just like a feeling in my body of just like, you know what it is? I've never put out an album before. Like, I put out an EP a few years ago, which did cool. But while I was making that EP and when I put it out, I was thinking, okay, but Burgundy is the album. I already knew, and I was working on it, and I had songs for it. So I never really experienced like putting on an album and having the pressure of, are people going to listen to me for 34 minutes straight, 33 minutes, 59 seconds straight? Like, I never thought about that. And it is kind of like hard to think about. And like, I turned off the notifications on all the apps on my phone. I watched The Social Dilemma. Like, I just had to try to unplug just so I can not think about it so much. Because if I think about it too much, I'll be worried about it.
Pressure.
Yeah.
Honest.
Yeah.
Do you think that like after it's out there in the ether, it's out there on the internet, you'll feel better? Or do you think this is just like part of like the journey you're on now?
I think it's sort of part of the journey, but I do think I'll feel better because my thing is that I'm an artist that I'm putting out my first album. I have 2 songs on Spotify, which I released a couple months apart recently. So it's just like, I'm at the very beginning of my career, basically. I'm at ground zero. And I feel like I'm at a better ground zero than most artists would be. So I don't put numbers and expectations in my brain. So I just feel like it's going to be more successful than I could ever imagine it to be, because I don't imagine it to be anything. I just imagine it to be a body of art. And my main goal is just, I wanted to put it out and for people to connect with it and to use it and get the concept. And if they don't get the concept, just enjoy the music for what it is and have fun to it and whatever. And I feel like I've already done that just with friends that I've sent the album to, that I've said like, bro, I really sat with this album and it means something to me. It helped me get through something, like, because that's the crazy part too. The album, since I've had it for like several years, I've sent it to friends, and friends have just lived with the album as if it was out. So I have friends that have like went through the same stuff I'm rapping about and used it to cope with it, which is crazy. So it's just like, the job is almost already done. You know, I'm gonna promote it and I'm gonna give my all and do all the videos and performances and whatever. But at the same time, as far as expectations go, I can't be worried about it, because what I wanted to happen has already happened. Like, I know I'm going to be good. I just have to, it's just something you can't control. Just the anxiety, the feeling of like, what if it doesn't work? But I think it's going to work anyways. I feel like it'll connect just people that might see a name and be like, okay, I've heard them music before. I dig them, and listen to it and be like, okay, this song is actually good. Then they go through the whole album. Like, I think I'm going to make fans just from it existing. That's what I hope for.
I feel you on that. Like, when you said that it already feels like it's been out because people have had the chance to sit and listen to it. Like, as one of those people, I can say like, yo, I sat down, I listened to this. I was like, oh, this helped me like go through some real life shit.
Yeah.
Like, for me, personally, as like a fan and someone who considers you a friend, I'm more just excited to see like the impact this has on your life, because like I feel like you're about to put out this really cohesive like piece of work, this real like body of art. And I'm just really excited to see like how does that change your life? Like where does that put you after this? Because you're someone that's worked so hard for this.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I hope it does a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially just realizing too, you changed your name.
Yeah, true. We didn't even mention that. Yeah, I changed my name at the top of this year. I changed my name from Will C to Will Cherry.
Yeah, why do you make it Will Cherry instead of just Will C?
I think Will C is just a bad rap name. I think it's not a good rap name. I think it's not Googleable. And there's a basketball player named Will Cherry, so I'm still not the first thing, but it's a little bit easier.
Okay.
Also, I think cherry is just a cool word. There's an emoji for it. It's a thing in real life. Like I love artists like Frank Ocean, where it's like, okay, this is a name, but it's also a word.
Mm-hmm.
Like Vince Staples is his real name, but still. Tierra Whack, that's her real name, but still. And Cherry can be a real name. Like there are multiple Will Cherries. So I just think it's a cool word.
Okay. Oh, that's it. It's just a cool word.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a meaning. Like cherry is not my favorite fruit. It's not like burgundy where there's like a couple meanings to it. It's just I think it's dope. It works well.
Was it always Will Cherry when you were Will C, or did you just pull Cherry out of thin air?
No, Cherry's not my name. Will C stood for Will Christopherson because that's my mom's maiden name. That's like my family name. And then my legal name is Lampley. We changed it to that. That's my dad's last name. We changed it when he died. So it was just like a name thing. Will C. Like I was called Will C as like a little kid. All the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like on the topic of like you like getting this buzz, you about to put out like what I think is going to be like one of the best indie projects of this year. How does it feel? Like are you getting like, are toxic exes popping back up in your life? Is there anyone that's coming like, yo, what's up, man? You remember me from the third grade? You getting any like weird feet pics in your Instagram DMs?
It's definitely been like a couple of those moments and like the toxic ex popping up. Like, yeah, it's been a little bit of that. There's definitely also been a lot of like people that clearly aren't really paying attention to what I'm doing or didn't really listen, aren't really reading my posts, didn't really look at my credits, that are in my DMs trying to sell me beats, trying to get me to do a video with them, trying to get me like basically people asking me to pay them money for stuff like, yo, bro, I do videos, like here's my rate. And I have like a video team and I actually like direct videos myself, so I don't really need that. And for the beats and stuff, like, yo, bro, I sell beats, here's my Rich the Kid type beat, let me know if you want to get it. Or people trying to do it for free, like I make my own beats. It's very rare for me to record to a beat that's not mine. Like I could probably count on my hand the amount of times I've done that in the last 3 years. Like if I've recorded on a beat that I didn't produce, it's usually for a feature, for a friend, or it's just something that's got to be super fire. Like even on the Starlight stuff, it's 2 songs I didn't produce, and we got a lot of songs. So it's just like I just tend to record over my own stuff. I mix my own stuff. Like it's just a lot of people that I guess see me as an opportunity now. And I know it's gonna get worse, so that's why I'm not on. That's why I turn the notifications off. Like, so when I have my time to go on Instagram, it's my Instagram moment, and I can just like not pay attention to it and do what I gotta do and get off.
You're done with the social media now.
That's my goal, is to be like one of the biggest artists in the world and then barely tweet. I would love to be in that position, so I just have to work super hard now. Yeah, I would love to do that.
It's crazy how like I feel like 3 years ago, do you feel like you were more on social media?
For sure, I was tweeting way more. Like now it's hard for me to think of something to tweet. Like I post stuff on my IG story, but as far as Twitter, it's hard for me to think of what to tweet sometimes. I'm definitely like, I would still be on social media a lot over the last couple of years, but I'm sort of like just on it less, especially since I announced the album. I feel like that sort of adds to the anxiety. I don't know why. It just kind of does, just being on there. yeah, I'm trying to take a step back a little bit. I think it'll help me to do that.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Like, even me, I consider myself like an attention whore, and I don't like. I think you know this too. I don't really tweet that much anymore, and we met it on Twitter.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, neither of us are really like on the app that much anymore. I think a lot of people I used to like fuck with heavy, like, just aren't on social media as much. I feel like it might be like a cohort thing, like our circle of people who, I don't want to say creative because I don't consider myself a creative, but in terms of like people in that realm, like a lot of us are just moving away from like Twitter and tweeting and like putting our ideas out there. And I feel you on the anxiety thing. Like, I don't know when this social pressure came into place where it's like to press that blue button and put your thoughts out on the internet just became like this massive headache.
yeah. But it is.
But yeah, it is. Like, I don't even get it. Like, I hate tweeting.
Yeah, it's weird, bro. It's very. I don't know what it was. It just feels off sometimes. And also on like, I don't know if I should say this. They might shadow ban me. But on Instagram, like, it feels weird, like seeing these ads that are targeted to me, like they're trying to sell me something all the time. It just feels weird, man. Like I just need a break from it, you know?
Yeah, like too much outside stimulus.
Yeah.
Even shit, I was just thinking something. Oh fuck it. If I can't remember, it's probably not important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like, what are we at right now? We are at 51 minutes. Time to start wrapping up, I think, because like realistically, like a podcast over an hour long, even though we're covering like 3 years of like lost conversation. Yeah, an hour is just way too long. So I guess to wrap it up, just what's on the horizons for you? Like, when do you expect like your album After Burgundy to come up? Where are things going with like the the short films, filmmaking, Starlight? Like, what's in the future for Well Cherry?
A lot of music videos, a lot of just creative, visual stuff to come out. I'm already up on a lot of videos. Like I'm already got like the catalog. Like with most artists, with the amount of videos I already have, a lot of artists would stop at where I'm at. But I just want to do a video for every track, every single song. But videos, I'm trying to do like these filmed performances outside, like secluded stuff, um, features with other artists, production for other artists. Um, I'm working on the short film that's like exclusive to the Burgundy concept that like is going to accompany the album. So I'm trying to work on that right now. I know this is going to be like a moment in time, a frozen moment in time. So I can say like literally, I just wrote the second draft, and I'm in the process of trying to figure out who can DP it for me, who can be the director of photography, and then after that we're going to try to cast it. I'm trying to. It's the fall. It's I always get a lot of inspiration in the fall, and it's my favorite season. So I really want to shoot it before the winter. I want to shoot it while it's still fall. So I'm trying to fast track it, but you know, it takes so many other people to do something like that, especially when it has dialogue, so it's audio too. So it might not be the easiest thing to try to do right now, but I want to try to get that done. Right now, I'm like working on the outline for this idea for a feature film that I have, and probably like, I don't know, a few weeks from now after the album is out, I've been promoting. I want to take a weekend and just force myself to write the first draft of that because it's kind of hard. It's like an ensemble idea too, so that's not gonna be easy. But I want to force myself to do it. Starlight, we have several EPs that we want to put out that are very good. Each one better than the last one. And it just feels like, you know, we have like a group chat where we get on calls with each other. We talk about life, inspiration, what drives us, and we make music together on the group FaceTime. So we have like group studio sessions where it'll just be at night and we're just making the song, recording, listening to each other record. We get the idea for what the verse should be about, and we're going back and forth, emailing and stuff in the moment. That's how we were able to do like a full EP in like 4 days this week. So I've just been grinding with that. And we have this single called Shining. That's going to be our first single. And it's one of my favorite songs I've ever done. Yeah, we just have like a ton of stuff, man. A ton of stuff coming. Producing for other artists on Starlight. Like I'm doing like full projects as a producer. And I'm going to be selling beats like more. So just a lot of just creating stuff, trying to push it forward. And definitely, it might be a little while before my second album. Not this long of a wait, but maybe like a year or something. I don't know. Just because I want this to live, because I feel like this is a very good album. And I feel like there's a lot to chew on with it. And I just want people to really feel it. I don't want to rush into the next thing. Because I notice a lot of artists kind of do that. Like, especially if they don't feel like they get the response they wanted. It's like, all right, well, maybe I got to try again. But it's like, maybe you just have to keep showing this to people until they notice it. You know, they say that people have to see something 7 times before they engage with it. So if that's the case, I got to go hard. I got to promote it for a while. I have to put it in front of people. I have to convince people, because this is something I believe in. Like I said recently, I feel like it's my life's work so far. I think I'm going to have more versions of that. I'm going to have better albums, better group stuff. But this is so far, like, I feel like this is one of the best. This is one of the best albums I've heard, period, in recent years. Like, big artists, small artists. Like, I think it's just one of those albums that's extremely good. I trimmed all the fat. Every song, like if you counted the amount of mixes between the albums, definitely over 100. It might be 150, especially because it's 10, so I can multiply it easy. So it's probably like 150 to 200 mixes when you count every song. Like all these little moments in the songs, like the little switch ups, the little like when you're inside the car with Rico and he's talking to you, the moments where you're speaking, like it's just these things. The cello, the live strings, the guitar solos. Like I feel like I found a way to produce an album and put so much on it, but I don't feel like it's overproduced, which I'm proud of. I just feel like it's something that people can sit with and it's going to mean something to them. So I just want to keep pushing that for a minute.
Yeah, I can definitely say, like, it does not sound overproduced. Like, you went pretty minimalist in my mind.
I like that. Yeah. Really?
Yeah, it was pretty minimalist. Like, it's minimalist, but it's not sparse.
Yeah.
That's just the best way to put it. Like, it doesn't feel, I don't know. In my mind, like, the artist I want to compare you to is Pierre, but like you are in a completely different pocket than Pierre.
Yeah.
Like sonically so different, but in terms of like repertoire and knowing like how much to actually put on a track and like how long a track should be, like you are both two artists where I can say you guys have that figured out like perfectly.
I just want to have like a super high taste level musically and visually. And I want that to come through to the people. I want to be one of those artists where it's just like, Will Cherry about to drop an album? Oh, I know this is about to be dope because I can trust in them. That's why I say bet on Cherry. Like it's because I want people to depend on me as an artist. I want to be an artist because my favorite artists, I can depend on them. Like, and some of my favorite artists have let me down. You know, I don't even have to say, but sometimes your favorite artist falls off. But when Kendrick dropped, I know it's about to be crazy. When Tyler drops, when Frank drops, like, and that makes me a bigger fan. That makes them mean more to me, knowing that I can bet on them. So I want people to bet on me.
That's a really good analogy. We're closing in on the 1 hour mark, almost at 59 minutes. Any like last words?
I would say, I hadn't thought about this. Just listen to the album, share the album with somebody, go to therapy, process what's going on in your life, be vulnerable with the people that you love, keep an eye out for the people that may not be, who you thought they were. Your mans ain't always your mans. Be careful. Don't throw out all your ideas into the universe before you act on them. Try to be a good person to people. Try to have some integrity, stand on something. Try to create something. Try to push yourself. When you think it's great, when you think it's dope, make it doper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks so much. This is This was really good to hear from you again, bro.
Yeah, man, for sure. You too.
Yeah. Starlight FM episode 1. Thank you everyone for listening. See you guys in the next episode.
Thank you, man.
Starlight FM.